Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask Me Anything by the WordPress Baltimore Meetup. Tonight's meetup is informational. Please use the information, products, services that we show at your own risk. Just because we show a website, plugin, theme, etc., is not an official WordPress endorsement of it. Please keep everything family friendly, as many of us are attending from home. Our community standards. We're going to do our best to follow the WordPress guidelines for community standards. That means that if you break these rules, I'll boot you from the meeting. No spamming or spammer-like behavior. We have people of all backgrounds and skill levels, so no judgment for those who are at a different level than where you are at. And generally, don't be a jerk. I'm Jen. I'm a WordPress developer who's been building and managing WordPress sites for clients for over a decade. Over the years, I've built, remodeled, cleaned up, fixed, added functionality, and done security work on hundreds of WordPress websites. And I organize the Baltimore WordPress Meetup. If you want to know more about me and what I do, visit enfira.com/help for more info. We are going to use the Zoom chat for questions and queuing people up. So please make sure that you have found your chat and you have it open. Everyone is muted to start, and I'll unmute for people to answer and interact when it's their turn. Please make sure that your video stays off, as many people have less than ideal internet connections. And no one knows everything. We'll do our best, but we can't guarantee an answer to every question. The questions. When I call your name, please type here in the chat or I will move on to the next person. So we always start with people who have pre-submitted questions if they are here. So Ingrid, Anne, Ted, Mickey, Terry, or Michael. If you are here, please type. All right, and Ted and Michael. All right, we are going to do your questions in their order. Give me 1 second. There we are. All right, Anne, if you want to unmute, please go ahead. Says you are looking for a way to get other information from a website and display it on your website. For example, if a city has a website and they have a list of events or a calendar, can you put that information on your site through an RSS feed? If so, yes. Typically, you can use an RSS feed plugin. There are a number of them in the WordPress repository, and they can basically import content from the RSS feed that is provided by the location.
So do all websites automatically have an RSS feed that I could get to?
Some do, some don't. Most WordPress sites generate one by default, but it is possible to turn it off, and it is possible that they could be using another system, which may or may not have an RSS feed available.
Okay.
Basically, right-click on the page and view source and do a find on RSS and see if you see something with RSS in it.
Can they have more than one RSS feed?
Yes. For example, on an e-commerce WordPress site, there would be typically a feed for products as well as a separate feed for the blog.
Okay.
Some event plugins generate their own RSS feeds just of the events. So yes, a given website can have multiple different RSS feeds.
Okay, and I just have to hope that the ones I want have an RSS feed that I can get.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, our next person up is Ted. All right, one of your sites, WordPress version 5.9, has a custom theme, and it has stopped auto-updating some of the plugins. On the page, it says that basically auto-updates are enabled, but they are overdue and they're not running. What hosting provider are you with?
A GoDaddy.
Well, that's a problem. They are known for having, well, a very large number of issues, but they include cron issues.
Ah,
There is a plugin called WP Control.
okay.
Control. It is this plugin here.
Okay.
And this you can install and it will help to tell you more about what the issue is with the cron. But
Okay.
it sounds like your issue is the GoDaddy. That's really kind of the issue going on there. It is known for a lot of issues.
Fortunately, I do have the WordFence security plugin that lets me know when things are not updating. I go and do it manually, but it is unfortunate.
Yes, and are you on the GoDaddy, one of their older cPanel or their newer managed WordPress?
Oh, it's managed.
Okay, so you're aware of the ongoing hack that they have no control over and can't end.
I don't recall hearing that. Can you say more?
WordFence GoDaddy hack. So they have generally a whole bunch of articles regularly on GoDaddy hacks. So WordFence, basically this is an ongoing hack situation. It is from the major breach that happened in fall of 21.
Okay.
And basically they're seeing just regular hacks ongoing. There's no real end to it. Basically all they can say is just regularly scan your site because you can get hacked at any time.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Would you suggest a competitive plugin instead?
You mean hosting company?
Well, I'm sure you would that, but let's say you would go with Malcare instead of WordFence or something like that.
So both WordFence and Malcare by default will only scan WordPress files, which is a problem because many times when hacks are added to your website, they add all sorts of other files that aren't part of WordPress because they know that the scanning tools generally only look for WordPress files and ignore the rest.
Okay.
Which means they can, a lot of times when I've seen like a Sucuri cleaned out website, I go into the file system and immediately see files that are literally called hacked.php. So Malcare, you can configure it. I always have to contact their support to figure out how to configure it because their documentation is rarely up to date with how their actual site is set up. But it is possible to have them configured so that they scan all files instead of just WordPress files.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But like I said, I always have to contact support because I find their documentation is never up to date. They always say it's not up to date. We're sorry, we're working on it. It's been a couple years, but they're still sorry. They're still working on it. But hopefully that helps.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up, Michael. Give me one moment, Michael. How important is it to change the group URL versus using an alias? You change the name of your nonprofit. The old URL is and you have a new URL, which you are using as an alias, you're urging them to switch to the new URL. Okay, basically for brand new domains, there's kind of a brand new domain penalty. So if you like just registered it, typically it's recommended to age it for about 6 months before you turn that into the primary domain, because brand new domains do take a little of a hit, as a lot of people have been spinning them up for malicious purposes. So if you haven't had the domain for at least 6 months, I would make sure that you wait about that amount of time before you switch to that being your primary domain.
We've had it about 6 months.
Okay, then it's probably time to go ahead and make the switch. When you do, just make sure that you have the 301 redirect set up. So you don't necessarily want it to be an alias, you want it to actually redirect. Because if you use an alias, then you can end up with getting a duplicate content issue.
We use duplicator to copy the site. Duplicator will rewrite all of the URLs, the internal URLs.
Yes.
We only have a very, very tiny number of links that have ever been distributed widely. I could,
I would switch to your new domain as your primary domain, and then use a 301 redirect at the domain level to redirect to the new website. I normally just do this through Cloudflare, but a number of other registrars have options in their DNS, depending on who you're registered with. If your registrar doesn't provide it, you can get a free Cloudflare account, and you can just set it up through there. Just look at their documentation on how to make a page rule for the redirect.
Both domains are with HostGator, which is also the also hosts the site. I think they probably would do anything.
Yeah, I don't honestly know what the options at HostGator are as far as DNS.
I'm pretty sure they'll do anything I ask them to do, since they control the registrations. So the 301s should be put in the
old
servers?
domain should redirect to the new domain. So this is normally done at the DNS level, not at the web application level, which means that the old WordPress site doesn't even have to exist. Just the new website using the new domain exists, and the old one is done at the DNS level, does a redirect.
Okay. So I could actually take the old site down.
Yes.
And so I can talk to HostGator about how to do that. I think probably they have a web page that describes how to change. I think probably they tell me how to do that.
It's a very common thing when people change from one domain to another. It's very common to do a DNS level redirect.
Okay.
So they should be aware of how to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we have another question. Mike, you put in a second question into the chat. Is there a way to generate an index in the sense that a book has an index using the category and tag markings on posts and pages? Sorry, I got tongue-tied there. So with many websites, categories and tags and whatnot, WordPress will automatically generate an archive for posts, categories and post tags. Is that what you're asking for? Is that archive?
Well, let me try to explain. We have a lot of material that's in the form of pages, and we have a number of older posts that have some pretty interesting material that we probably are going to eventually capture as pages. What we would like is something like a really elaborate FAQ that has levels, and we're thinking that might be what we do. And what we're trying to do is figure out a quick way in order to label the pages. And I'm speaking out of church here because I'm not an expert on WordPress. Label things so that the indexing mechanisms inside WordPress can be utilized to say, okay, you've tagged this piece of text as being important for some particular reason, and have WordPress pick it up and generate, a default, a draft index that we can then take and use to update our main directory of how to find things.
It's possible that maybe a knowledge base type of plugin might be along the lines of what you're looking for. I haven't done exactly what you're describing, but there are a few different knowledge base plugins out there, which are kind of exist for you to be able to define things and index them.
Okay, thank you.
So I would look in that direction. I mean, on just a quick search, there's knowledge base plugins to create knowledge bases, documentations, frequently asked questions. They've got they've got layouts, which with examples, which allows you to have some different setups. So something along these lines might be what you're looking for.
Okay.
So if I can drop this link in the chat. I haven't used this one, so I don't know, but it's got a lot of good ratings. So there's always that, and the support forum actually has tickets resolved. So those are always good signs that the plugin is being actively maintained. So I would look in that direction.
Thank you.
So our next question is from Anne. And everyone who's watching, if you want, you can just add your questions to the chat and we'll just take them in the order in which they're added. So Anne's question is, one of my sites with WooCommerce has prompted me to switch over to their WooCommerce payments with PayPal payments. Have you used this, and is it different than PayPal standard? I have not used it. I don't actually have any sites right now running on WooCommerce that are running through PayPal.
What do you use for payment for yours?
Stripe.
Okay.
Stripe or authorize.net.
Gotcha.
The number of issues that PayPal has had over the years and how poorly they tend to treat merchants. Most people have moved away from, a lot of people are moving away from PayPal.
Okay. So is this just a different plugin then? But happens to be made by WooCommerce?
Yeah, I'm looking at it because I haven't looked at this.
Okay. Well, it's got a lot of 1 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a great sign. Yeah, the basic thing has always been just that PayPal was built in It looks like the main difference is that the PayPal buttons are ending up on the pages earlier in the process.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
check out directly from the product page.
Okay.
But I would definitely go look at those reviews. Oh good, it corrupts your CSS.
Oh no. Oh.
So yeah, I would say that I would probably not use this plugin.
Okay. So maybe they just were
from these.
Yeah. Maybe they were just advertising it to me to try, since I use WooCommerce, they were just trying to get me to use this one.
Probably because it's going so poorly.
Yeah. But the PayPal standard, I think, is what originally came with it.
Yes, PayPal standard has been included with WooCommerce by default for years.
Okay. So hopefully they're not getting rid of that though.
As far as I know, I haven't seen anything mentioned that they were going to get rid of that.
Okay.
But yeah, I would not try this. This is
Yeah, you're right.
This is not good.
Okay, good. Glad I asked.
So yeah, I wouldn't try that. All right. And then Annette left a comment that she uses PayPal, but directly through PayPal's website, not trying to do any e-com with it. Okay. All right. We are through the initial questions. So does anyone have any other questions? Please go ahead and post them in the chat. Oh, Anne has another question. Anne, if you want to unmute yourself, you can also do that.
Okay, I was typing. Do you want me to still put it in the chat or just?
Oh, no, you can just go ahead and tell me.
Okay. It's about Google Analytics.
Yes. Have you switched to the new Google Analytics 4?
That's what I'm asking. I have not.
So,
but yeah.
What you want to do is you want to install both on your website so that you start to get a little bit of history in Google Analytics 4 before the current Universal Analytics gets turned off next year.
Okay.
So what a lot of SEO agencies are doing is they're adding Google Analytics 4 so that they are able to get data starting now so that they'll be able to have some history data next year.
Okay.
And then next year, they'll deal with the actually having to deal with Google Analytics 4. But the interface itself is just not a pleasant thing. The new Google Analytics 4 is not a very pleasant experience.
Oh.
It's very different from what Google Analytics Universal Analytics was.
Mm-hmm.
Just the interface is very different. And
do you use it yourself, or do you have is that another?
Yes.
So you've done it. Okay.
Yes. So what you can do is you can just add, you just literally create a new property in Google Analytics for your account.
Okay.
So this is my GA4. So it's listed here. And then I have my UA, which is Universal Analytics, and then my GA, which is Google Analytics 4. So I just added another property to the account.
Okay.
And then I added the second Google Analytics code script to my page.
Okay.
So I have both of those codes on my page.
And do you have it so that it can check maybe clicks on a link or on a PDF, down to that level, or just pages?
So it will track pages by default. There's more things that you can set up for trying to track clicks and whatnot.
Yeah. I've tried and I cannot figure it out. But I would like to know.
It's a little complicated,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, it's all going to change when I have to switch some of the sites that I have tracking set up to track on Google Analytics 4.
Which I heard is supposed to be easier. I don't know, but maybe it would be easier to track things.
It
Or-
is supposed to be easier, but I haven't actually gotten into it yet.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
So Mike asked a question about SEO, where to start. If you know absolutely nothing about SEO, you can, Brian Dean has some free courses, as well as some information on his website. And if you don't know anything or where to start, this is probably a decent place to get started. Just because he'll introduce you to the terminology and some of what's going on in the world of SEO. It's a very large and very broad topic. So regarding the previous topic of WooCommerce and PayPal, WooCommerce announced that PayPal standard will be hidden on new installs. So that is an unpleasant thing.
So that means new installs of all of WooCommerce.
Of WooCommerce, yes.
So if I
So
already have it,
you're safe.
I'm safe. But if I do a new site, I'm not safe.
It will be hidden.
Hidden.
Hidden
Okay.
does not mean removed. It
Okay.
means you have to go through effort in order to see it.
Ah, okay.
And they're trying to push everyone to their new solution, which looks like it is very, very poor solution at the moment. Perhaps they will work on that and improve it. One can only hope.
Yeah. Okay.
And Keith also posted a link to a Google Analytics 4 user interface walkthrough, which I'm not going to actually play because it's long, but it's got a good number of likes on it, and it's from Google Analytics. So I would say this is probably going to be a pretty useful video. So thank you, Keith. All right, is there anyone else? So as per usual, I will be taking July and August off from hosting meetups because it's summer and I just take those couple months off from hosting meetups. So WordPress meetups are a community thing, which means that members of the meetup can in fact host their own meetups if they would like to. So that is an option available to you if you want to add your own meetups and host them yourself within the meetup group. Otherwise, I will be back and see you in September. And Mike, if you are desperate and need something else, we have a meetup page. Resources, there we are. This is our Baltimore WordPress Meetup, which has information about the group. And it also has a section on getting WordPress help.
I have somebody who works with me, done WordPress for years, but we keep learning stuff all the time.
Yes, it is always changing. There are always new things to learn. All right, so I will see you all in September. I hope you have a good summer.